Welcome to The Explainer. We're all about breaking down big topics by looking right at the source material itself.
So, what if every single second of your life became a data point? I mean, seriously, that question, it's not some sci fi concept anymore. We're about to dive into a really deep case study of what's called life quantization. We're going to see what actually happens when someone decides to measure, log, and analyze pretty much everything they do. Okay, take a look at this. This is somebody's day, but probably not like you've ever seen yours laid out. It's been completely converted into a super detailed log. I mean, everything from housework to watching TV, every single activity is timed down to the minute, carefully categorized, and get this, even tagged with how they were feeling at the time. And it doesn't stop when you close your eyes. Even your sleep, it's not just rest anymore, it's a full-on data set. This log here breaks down a whole night into REM, deep sleep, light sleep. It even gives you an efficiency score. Think about that. Every single unconscious moment is turned into a number. And it's not just what you do, it's how you feel. Your moods, from happy to tired to disappointed, they all become entries in this huge emotional database. We're looking at a yearly report here with over 4,000 activities and almost 900 moods logged. That is what a quantified life looks like. Okay, so how do we even begin to make sense of all this? We're going to break it down. We'll look at turning life into data, quantifying the body, measuring minutes and moods, finding patterns, and finally, what this all adds up to, a portrait in data. All right, first step, turning life into data. Let's get right to the core idea behind this whole thing. So quantified self is basically the whole movement of self-tracking. It's all about using tech to turn your own life experiences into this constant stream of data that you can actually analyze. And the core belief, right, the big idea behind it is pretty simple. If you can measure it, you can understand it. And if you can understand it well, you can improve it. Okay, so let's dig into the most common starting point for anyone doing this. Quantifying the body. I mean, it makes sense, right? It's the most tangible part of our lives, and with all the wearables out there today, it's the easiest thing to measure. This is so interesting. When you see a full day broken down like this, you've got your expected stuff, right? Almost half the day is productive time. About a third is sleep. But check this out. That other slice, unproductive time, almost 15% of the day is literally categorized as goofing. So this isn't just about tracking work, it's about tracking the non-work stuff with just as much, maybe even more precision.
And for a lot of people who track, it all starts with sleep. You can think of it as a foundational metric, It's like the biological reset button that affects your energy, your mood, your productivity, basically your whole next day. The idea is if you get your sleep right, everything else has a better chance of falling into place.
And this is a perfect example of how different tools can see the exact same thing differently. So on the left, you've got a Fitbit report giving a sleep score of 80. Sounds pretty good, right? But then look at the app on the right. It's calculating a cumulative sleep debt of over 10 hours. So one is looking at the quality of just one night, while the other is looking at the long-term deficit. Two totally different stories from the same night's sleep. Of course, it doesn't just stop at sleep. No way. It expands out into this whole web of biometrics. We're talking about things like your resting heart rate, your blood oxygen, weight and body fat, how many steps you take, even blood pressure, and tracking every single calorie. Each one of these is like a little piece of a much bigger health puzzle. All right, so we've talked about the body. Now let's get into the next layer, measuring minutes and moods. This is where it gets tricky, right? Because it's one thing to measure your heart rate, but it's something else entirely to try and put a number on your happiness. So look here, you can see exactly how every minute is accounted for. A session of digital art is logged and tagged with both happy and tired. Then 2 hours of watching a movie is tagged happy. What this does is it creates a direct, data-driven link between what you're doing and the emotional result of that action. And this layer, this subjective, how you feel about it part, is absolutely crucial. I mean, without it, all you have is a schedule. But with it, you start to get this really rich picture of what activities drain you, which ones give you energy, and what actually genuinely makes you happy. It's that connection between the objective action and the subjective feeling. And then you get something like this, and this is so important. In the middle of all this clean, sterile data, you get this raw, totally unfiltered human moment. This little journal entry with the emoji and the slang. It's just a great reminder that behind all the charts and graphs, there's a real person, just, getting through their day. Okay, so now we're at the point where we start connecting the dots.
Because the real power of all this tracking isn't in any single data point. It's in how they all connect to tell a story. It's about finding those hidden patterns between your sleep, your mood, and what you do all day.
And here's a perfect example of that story playing out. So, step 1, it all starts with one bad night of sleep. Just over 5 hours gets a fair score. Step 2, that one rough night adds to this growing sleep debt. And step 3, what happens the very next day? The log shows over 5 hours spent goofing. And finally, step 4, the activities all day are tagged with tired and sat. You can literally draw a straight line from that one bad night of sleep to a day with low productivity and a bad mood.
This is exactly it. This is the moment where self-tracking stops being just a diary and turns into a really powerful diagnostic tool. You're not just guessing anymore about why you had a bad day. The data can literally show you the cause and effect. Which brings us to our last section, a portrait in data. And really, this leads to the biggest and maybe most important question of all. Why? Why would someone go to all this trouble to create this incredibly detailed digital mirror of themselves? You know, the easy answer is it's all about optimization, right? To be more productive, more efficient, to get rid of that goofing time. But when you look closer, especially at some of the journal entries, the data hints that there might be something deeper going on. And then you come across a journal entry like this one. Think about what you want, then about what you have. Can you move passion for the first set to the second? Wow, that really suggests the goal isn't just about changing the numbers. Maybe it's more about understanding the person behind the numbers. It's a shift from just optimizing your life to, well, to self-reflection. So, in the end, what all this self-quantification really does is give you a super detailed, kind of undeniable map of your life, exactly as it is. It's like a perfect mirror. But here's the thing, it can't tell you where to go next. The data shows you what you have. The real question is, what do you want? And that's the final human variable that no app, no sensor can ever track.